I'm Uncle Sam, and I'm watching Jiggy Jag TV.
Jiggy Jag, and we're out here at the Kansas State Fair, and I'm getting ready to talk to a great artist. This guy did a heck of a performance earlier, a little bit of a workshop, and he's going to be doing the whole thing tomorrow. I'm going to get the hell out of the way and let the real people with talent talk. So, Ronald, go ahead and give us some information on the flamenco world.
Sure. Well, flamenco, first of all, there's not very many of us out here doing this.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm one of the original concert flamenco guitarists who is an American, and so I like a lot of guys back in the 60s or 70s. We got hooked by flamenco music, and I happened to have kind of a knack for it. I'd been a rock and roll guitarist, played a little blues, a little jazz, a little country.
You look like you could be an Elvis personator.
I could be. I was a big Elvis fan. Fan of all kinds of music that was from the 50s and 60s, but I got interested in flamenco from a recording that I heard of Carlos Montoya. My mom brought a record home from a grocery store in Minnesota on a fishing trip. How's that? We're talking about the one that used to go round with the needle on it. Yeah.
Hey, mister, what's the record?
Some of you don't remember that. But we used to do that. I listened to that all summer one summer, just drove everybody crazy trying to figure this stuff out on my electric guitar.
On your electric guitar.
Drove everybody nuts on Wolf Lake, Minnesota. But anyway, so to make a long story short, I got back to Tulsa, sold my electric guitar. I knew I had to do this. You see, it was a major turning point in my life. This was like my wow moment. Like, this is what I'd been looking for. So I ended up getting records of Carlos Montoya and other flamenco guitars and trying to find out more about it. But there was no one in Tulsa, Oklahoma who knew anything about it. So I was kind of on my own. People made fun of me, crazy kid thinks he's going to be a gypsy, stupidest thing I ever heard of. They'd stop me on the street. Hey, they did a story on me in the newspaper. Had my picture there, and the headline was, Tulsan has a goal. I mean, this is news.
That is
somebody had a goal.
Slow news day.
Yeah, anyway. But they thought it was still a little weird. I mean, they just didn't think a guy from Oklahoma could be a flamenco guitarist. I didn't pay attention to him at all. I was operating from my heart. This is something I love to do. And I'd been told by my mom early on that if you find what you're good at, and you find a way to do it so you love what you do, you're guaranteed success in life.
Cool.
Turns out, after many years of traveling around, going to study with Montoya in Spain, I auditioned for him backstage at the end of that year when I was in high school.
Yeah.
I just got my $15 pawn shop guitar and playing flamenco on it. And so he invited me to come on to New York City after he heard me play. So I went on to New York City and studied with Carlos Montoya for a couple years off and on.
That must have been just fabulous.
Had all those guys, Sabicas and Mario Scudero and all those guys. And then I played after 2 years of working really hard, 8 to 10 hours a day, maybe sometimes 12 hours a day I practiced. Played with flamenco dancers and all that in New York City, and then I played in Carnegie Hall after 2 years.
Cool.
Subsequently, I made about 9 different trips over to Spain after I went to the Army, and I was in Vietnam.
You got a full scholarship on here.
Got a Fulbright, yeah, that's right. They gave me that Fulbright scholarship. That was my first trip to Spain.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I guess the only one they ever did for flamenco guitar. So naturally, I was very grateful for that. Traveled all over Spain and kind of immersed myself in the culture with the wisdom of those old Spanish gypsy guitars, and really got into the culture and lived it. Really lived the life.
You played Carnegie Hall, the Washington Center, all sorts of places.
I've been around the world, about 15 countries. I played in all major universities throughout the United States, and still pretty much do most of my performing in the U.S. still right now, and a lot of performances for colleges.
You've been to Switzerland.
I played a concert in Switzerland. Yeah, as a matter of fact. Yeah, that was a cool one. I'll be telling some of those stories at the concert tomorrow night at 6 o'clock over at the Brett's Law Arena. And,
now, you toured for the U.S. State Department as a musical ambassador in Mexico. How was that trip?
Oh, that was incredible. That was the beginning of it. I played in all the capital cities of Mexico, each state of Mexico, and and this included, of course, the University of the Americas. But while I was on this tour, people started noticing what I was doing, and there's this guy from Oklahoma that plays real flamenco music and speaks fluent Spanish, and so they picked up on it and turned me into the ambassador. I went on down to all the Latin American countries, all the way down to Panama, played concerts for the universities, and had a great time. Really got some of my...
Tell us about your CD and DVD that you got out there.
Yeah, I got they're all, by the way, my website is just my name, ronaldradford.com.
Cool.
So check out my website, or you can just go Ronald Radford Flamenco on YouTube, and you can hear a dozen or so of these hot videos that are up now. But the audio track for a lot of those little slideshow videos is from this CD called Viva Flamenco, and it's available. You can order it directly on my website, again, ronaldradford.com. The DVD was recorded a couple years ago. It was a live concert. It was recorded, you know, with 5 cameras, and, you know, really professional deal. Me telling all my stories, you know, the whole 9 yards. And that DVD is available also through my website. You can order these through major stores as well, but most people just get it directly from the website.
Yeah. So, now, before I let you go, you told a little bit of story up there that I think tugged at a lot of people's heartstrings, mine and being a media person. This, the impact of Sam Brownback and people basically getting rid of the arts, trying to get rid of the arts.
They're not trying to get rid of the arts. They were just running scared. They were just running scared of a short budget, and they're the kind of people who don't necessarily value either the cultural enrichment and preservation of our culture and the values of our civilization that are contained in the arts. They are more concerned about the bottom line, and so consequently they cut $700,000 out of the state budget. But in doing so, they immediately cut about $1.2 million from National Endowment that would have been a part of the funding I would have gotten to play here, as well as about $9 million worth of other economic activity generated by that. So he really shot the state of Kansas in the foot by doing that. I know it's politically popular to cut the arts and things that they think are unnecessary, but you wouldn't think of cutting grocery stores or truckers or anything like that, because the arts are an essential part of the business climate in Kansas. So I was really sorry to see that. That's why I came out to play these concerts anyway. I got 10 cities I'm doing throughout the state of Kansas right now, 6 weeks of touring. And except for one of them, Iola, they came up with some money for me, but the rest of them, economy's so bad, funding was cut, they didn't have any money. I'm going to do the shows anyway.
Cool stuff.
So,
well, thanks.
That's what I do. I'm an artist. I play. I create magic.
Thanks for being out here, sir.
My pleasure. Hey,
and
thank you.
how do we find you on the internet?
RonaldRadford.com.
That'll work.
See you there.
Thanks for watching Jiggy Jag TV. Thank you.
little jam session kind of music where y'all get to join in.
Phelps to the Kinsey Six, from Glenn Miller to Two Live Crew and everyone in between. We do them all. We are K-Jag Radio and Jiggy Jag TV.